Morning, everyone. There, let's just do that because I didn't have a very good last couple of days. So about the Friday trade, I don't know if the Japanese yen was going to continue with their very, very loose fiscal policy, and the Japanese yen just fell out of bed, shot down, up to suck peak time. So I hope it's going to recover from that and have a great month, I agree. We do any Maydays going out on the trading hay. Oh, that was terrible. Sorry about that. Oh, hang on, hope you can hear me all right. Can you hear me now? I just said hi, we've passed. Just said hi. Can you hear me now? Can anybody not hear me? Okay, that's great. More. Okay, past. Let's get started. Okay, I trust everyone had a pleasant, well, basically it was a long weekend because I know a lot of guys left Wednesday, took the Friday off and clearly the Monday. I think it's actually worked out a little bit longer than Easter, in fact. So yeah, it's been quite a holiday-filled month of April. We probably can afford it, but anyway, that's the way it is. Just a second. Can you hear me, Jacob, now? Everyone else can hear me. I put it down. Still probably speak. You can't hear me. Else can hear me. Just a second. I like this camera. I hear me now. Okay, that's fine. Guys, I think how pronounce it? Giandra, I pronounce it. Giandra. Can you mute yourself if you're not interacting, please, guys? Just mute yourself if you're not interacting. I can hear all the background. We can't continue on that basis. Okay. Just mute yourself or I have to mute everyone. It's a bit inconvenient. Okay, morning to all. I say you can chat, obviously, something through the trading room, or you can put in the chat line. Interact, remember, this is where we, so let these guys come in there. This is what we call a forum where we all interact, share trade ideas, strategies, and try and learn some of the practical aspects of trading. Try and iron out the things we can control, so we concentrate on the things that we can't control, i.e. market movements. Okay, right, we've got a trade out at the moment, CAD JPY. I'm just going to go to the daily. It had such a move up. That's nothing to do with the Canadian, that's the Japanese yen. Clearly the Canadian went up, the Japanese yen weakened. There's still 0.1% interest rates, and they're going to continue with the extremely what they call loose monetary policy, which means that they're going to do squat for now. And they came out with that, and that's perceived as a weakness for the yen, and that's gone up and surprisingly turned from quite a strong currency into a pretty weak one, as we can see. So look at that movement. Over the last couple of trade days, remember, markets are open overseas yesterday, a lot of places. Over the last couple of days, it's moved up nearly 400 points, 360, 370 pips. So not points, sorry, pips. That's a hell of a lot. So I thought, well, hang on, might look like it could come back a bit. Okay, this seems to be holding. And as well, I mean, you know, if you get that kind of run, it's very likely it's going to start saying, I'm getting a bit nervous here, I might take the profit. It's, you know, it's like to get a pullback. And I think some TPs will get triggered there as well. And it looks like you might get a little bit of a pullback, hence the idea of a trade idea to sell it back down again. Okay, because I don't think the Canadian is that strong. Certainly think overall, that's just more fundamental push than actual total weakness on a very big economy like the Japanese economy. So there we are. So if you liked it, there you are. You have the trading signal going out. Let's see how it goes. Okay, right. We had WTI sent out. We'll start with good before we get news. WTI did pretty well. Still doing okay. It's making some profits, so it's hovering. At least it's making some profit. Not so good NZD-JPY. Caught badly with that one. Sent out Friday. Seemed like a good idea. Where is JP? Can't just say the good news and avoid the bad. And of course, this took off big time in the wrong direction. When was it? I think it was there. We sent it out. So, yeah, that was right here. Send it out, and then suddenly the yen just suddenly fell to the floor, which means it boosted the New Zealand dollar the opposite direction. It seems to be coming to a bit of a halt here, but I dare say, right, sell it after you've taken probably a stopped out knock. And you might not be in a very good mood on that, but you've got to accept the fact again, it is going to happen in trade. That's just the way it is. That's why you have stop losses and position sizing calculators to make sure if it does knock you, you're still in the game and it's not going to hurt too badly. So, morning, Marius. So there we are. Gold is getting a nightmare. We got a trade out there a while back, and every time it shoots up, it comes down. A lot of guys actually stopped out in a modified profit. Now they've got him at 1980 or whatever the trade was. So daily correct went up to sort of 2,000 actually. And then probably the guys just modified the stops. I think a lot of guys in that trade, especially TR guys, would have modified and been stopped would be triggered, but in a profit. Where's it going to go from now? At the moment, it's simply range trading. It's all it is at the moment is range trading. No more, no less. 1980 to about 2000, 2005, around about a $25 range. Trade that range. However, we remember we've got Wednesday, the interest rate decision 8 o'clock from the Fed, the US Fed, Jerome Powell, the chairman, will be releasing the interest rate decision. It's about 95%, quarter percent. Very likely it's going to be any different. That's not the issue. The issue is the reaction to it and the Q&A afterwards. Always remember that. It's not about the DART release interest rate. That's more or less expected. A lot of that's discounted in the market. Overwhelmingly, it's expected to be that, and I'd be very, very surprised if it's not. It'll be radical if it's different, put it that way. Remember, it's such a large economy. No chairman of the Fed is going to turn around and try and spook a $1 trillion economy like that. So unless it's forced upon for various circumstances, it's likely to go along with that flow and quarter percent. So the issue will be probably quite a bit jumping around after the Q&A. Is he going to stick with his strong hawkish stance? Where is he going to looking at bring down interest rates next year or early into this year? Is he stopping? Or are we having another one later in the year? Those will be asked and come up with. He'll probably come up and say, "We'll look at the situation, etc." He'll try to sit on the fence a bit. They can't have too higher interest rates. It's causing a lot of problems on what we call the long bonds, losing a lot of value to the guys lent out the money and the banks, plus people forestalling or on their loans. They can't keep up the payments, which means the bank loses out as well, the poor client, of course, and that sort of thing. And I remember we talked about the inverted yield curve last week, where we get short-term interest yields suddenly fall below the short-term ones, and that can't work, clearly. Kind of a higher interest rate for the short-term, the long-term makes no sense for savers at all. So there are a few balls in the air on basic economic fundamentals that will be brought up tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock, and discuss. So be very circumspect on the US dollar in the meantime. Then we got the ADP, which is the automatic data processing of precursor non-farms, coming up Friday. about was it about 2:15, I think it is, on Wednesday as well. Then we got the normal weekly jobless claims on Thursday and the big one on Friday, 2:30. I've sent it out to all my VIP clients, but just a reminder, please, you need to have money in your account. Don't join me at 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, a special session I'm having on the Trading Room Zoom ID for those who got at least a couple of K or more in their account. We can only take 100 seating on Zoom, so to speak, 100 people joining. So please don't push somebody else out who's got some money if you unfortunately don't have yourself. So if you've got a couple hundred rand in your demo account, sorry guys, I can teach the mechanics here, the trade with pleasure, but don't try and go in because you won't have enough to make use of that straddle trade idea, which will be discussed. And it would make someone else who can't get a seat who could do it not be able to partake. So it's a lose-lose situation that way. So we'd rather have the guys join who can. But I'm just mentioning we have it 2 o'clock on Friday till 3 o'clock, and we'll share the straddle trade ready for 2:30 release. And we've had we've had success in the past doing it. Well, no reason why we shouldn't continue on the same way of doing it. The next one will be the CPI afterwards. They're probably the following week, I can't remember. And then we do another 1, 2 to 3 session where we take advantage of the data release. We do a buy stop, sell stop, what we call a straddle trade to take advantage of it. Make a note, and if you're not sure how it works, and we've got a quiet moment, which I'm sure we're going to have, with all these major fundamentals coming out the next couple of days or so, which makes it very, very difficult to trade. Remember, when you see big movements like this, or you see on the yen, it's not trading or technicals or, I don't know, 200-day moving averages or head and shoulders patterns, nothing to do with it. It's always fundamentals. And these up-and-coming fundamentals giving us jerk because anything could happen. Again, we can ask opinions to blue in the face, but what actually happens after release can sometimes confound a lot of people. So just bear that in mind. I'm going to post on that subject. I'm sure there's some new guys in here. I've met a few new names. The economic calendar, please, I beg of you, copy, paste it, save it, keep an eye on it, minimize your laptop so you got keep an eye on it. In other words, it's very important. If, like I mentioned many times, the trade room, the fundamental comes through, forget the bloody technicals, or goes through the technical like a knife through butter. Fundamentals are important. This is also important is the dollar index. I refer to it constant in the trading room, so you might as well have it because it's easy enough to have. There we are. Just going to post it for you. Keep an eye on it. Keep it minimized. Save it so you know what's happening to the dollar index. And the last one is the yields. We talk about interest rate or yields on the bonds. This is always the biggest of the lot. The US 10-year Treasury note or bond, call the note because it's medium term rather than long term. Long term is considered 15, 30 years, that sort of thing. Medium term, 3, 5, 7, 10 years, around about that. And the Treasury bill is the short term interest rate movements on the 1 year or so or less, just so you know. So copy that. No, copy it. Sorry, beg your pardon. Too busy talking, trying to explain it to you. Right. Just want to make sure the bond itself is not what we're looking at. The bond is the yields on the bond. If the yields go up, it's bad for gold and it's bad for the markets. If the yields go down, it's good for gold and good for the markets. Similar to the dollar. Okay, so we need to keep an eye on that, and absolutely the Europeans. And they're targeted with 2 or 3 stars. Clear the 3 stars more important. Okay. All right, hope that's all clear. So yeah, gold with the major movement coming in tomorrow. If you want to do a quick trade, range trade, and buy it, take it up, fine. If you're a nice profit before the 8 o'clock release, modify your stop to make sure you can't lose. Hopefully, if it goes bad, but that's not impossible to still lose on it. Remember, the stop loss or the TP is a buy or sell order, and if it's suddenly information comes out and it shoots through, it might shoot through your stop loss because there's no buyers or sellers at that specific level. And it only settle in when there's buyers and sellers when you take that trade off you. Remember, it's all right, very starting to sell my TV set value at 1,000 rand. There's only 1,000 rand value, and a counterparty actually buys it off. So I'm selling, and my stop loss is, let's say, 1,000 rand, is automatically a buy order. If not buying at 1,000 rand, well, that's not going to happen until maybe get an offer at 900. And then I'm out in the TV market. Same sort of principle. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Your stop loss is not just a figure of guaranteed get out. It's saying to the guys out there, I'm buying or selling to exit my trade at that level. Normal times, it's not a problem. The millions and millions, billions or trillions of liquidity out there, not a problem. But if you get an enormous move like a bomb going off for a major fundamental, there might not be, you've got your stop loss down here, the major fundamental juice down. It might not be any buyers at that level if you're selling, which you're selling short, for instance, and you know, it's a sell order if you're buying, rather. You're buying to go up and it shoots down. That's a sell order. There's no one buying it off you. You're selling it, we're not buying it off you until here, maybe, and then it's taken off you, and that's not really what the doctor ordered. Just bear that in mind, okay? Stop loss TP is purely a buy or sell order put out to the market, which is almost not a problem, only affected by major fundamentals of the market. A lot of people are not aware of that, so I'm just mentioning that again. But we're covered with that. So going back to gold, if you want to do it, find that range. I'm not going to put a trade out. That is your choice. But just make sure you're very careful for tomorrow's movements and, of course, going into Friday. Just be aware of that. Okay. Yeah, so there we are. Haven't got many trades at the moment. I thought maybe AUD had an increased interest rate, which was not expected. What was it again? Just give me a second. What happened there again? Just get this out of the way. Just get more. Sorry, just give me a moment. Where are we now? Came on Friday. What the hell was it? Anyway, it was an unexpected interest rate increase or something was expected. It didn't occur or something. Anyway, it affected the AUD quite dramatically. As you can see, it jumped up. That's right, 40% increase. It wasn't expected. Normally, as I said, they don't like to spook the markets. So the markets are usually correct in predictability of any increase, decrease, or non-increase or decrease in interest rate. In this case, they went up anyway. And look what happened to the dollar. It just shot up. And that against the JPY. So a big jump on the AUD and a major weakness of the yen. So those two opposite around confronted each other. And in a couple of days or so, we had over 400 pip movement. That was luck than judgment. If you're on the right side of it, good luck. Well done. Happy for you, but it's luck. If you're on the wrong side, you got unlucky. That's not skill. That's just lucky or unlucky. That's correct. Fundamentals, quite correct. Yeah. So there we are. Anyway, so I thought we might be a bit of a pullback, but it don't see much happening at the moment. Seemed already taken out the 200, so I decided to leave it alone and not suggest it. AUD Sheffield thought after the same movement. Remember, it's one of the strongest currencies. And even that, it's right at support level there. I thought maybe come off a bit, but I'm a little bit nervous because after that big movement up, is that momentum completed as yet? It's not that big, only 80 pips, because that shows how strong the Swiss franc is. So I'm looking to sell that down again. I think that's not going to continue that momentum. But I'm just wondering if we're not getting a little bit ahead of ourselves just yet. Wait for maybe get a confirmed breakdown. We haven't seen the confirmation. Not even on the hour. We tried to come off. Look, it went back up again. So I looked at possibility, but no confirmation there. So I think we'll stand aside on that one. And so the CAD-JPY, which is sort of popped up a little bit, seems to be breaking even at the moment. Okay. We discussed last week about why to stop some trades, because this broke my heart, This one seriously broke my heart. We had a 60 pip stop, but the time we felt thought was adequate. And most without trading, but I'm looking back, maybe we should have stuck with a 100 pip stop. If we stuck with a 100 pip stop, going at 150, as mentioned, 149 the stop, going to come back. What time it came back to what, 149.30? A little bit below that, but we'd have still been in it. The TP on it was 151 something or other. Went through that TP like a knife through butter. People on the board that had modified the TP and kept modifying the stop loss that stopped out. And in the end, you might have made 300 plus pips on that damn thing instead of taking a knock, which he did. He got stopped out before it shot up. And look at this movement. It's a heartbreak. Look at that. 480, 500 pips. Heartbreaking that. I don't want to spend too long. I'm still getting over that. That really broke my heart. Okay. Right trade, everything, stop loss. It happens. That's happened, Monica. Well, I have to be honest, one of the major problems we're having is the load shedding, and a lot of people outside big cities don't always have adequate internet. Unfortunately, whether you like it or not, we don't live 1,000 years ago. In today's society, you need adequate tools, you need adequate, decent quality, fast internet, and of course you need electricity, quite frankly. And you start taking that away, you become uncompetitive with the world. And that's what's happening in Fortune at the moment, which makes it a struggle. Very painful, Ken. Thanks for some empathy there. Because that hurt. We should, never mind me, all of us should have been enough fat profit on that one. That really actually pissed me off. Right. Anyway, so there it happens. I think that's the lot at the moment. I'm just warning you up front. We can discuss trade ideas. We can discuss practical strategies. We can do Q&A where you ask me questions. You can say, I went to a couple of classes and I'm not quite sure what they meant by it. Can you just clarify that sort of thing? Because if you find a trade, that's number one, but just be a little bit careful going into this major release coming out during the week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Mainly Wednesday and Friday, but to a certain extent Thursday as well. So we've got to be wary. We've been caught before about a month ago. I think just round about when Manya joined, actually, where we got caught badly with some GBP fundamentals that didn't go our way. And that's not bad trading or what good trading. It's just you can get lucky or bad. Sometimes I've got it right. Say, well done, Rod, that was a great trade. I said, no, let's be honest, got lucky there. The funding came out in my favor, but sometimes it doesn't. But that's not skill, that's luck. And we don't want to play around, anything could happen. If you feel lucky, well, go for it, but just be careful. Okay, no problem, Pietro. Okay, so that's fun. Right. Just got to accept the fact, having an economic calendar, nothing to do about it. When they come out, be aware of them because they do affect the price and you cannot predict it. Don't even think, what's your opinion? Give it a pleasure. What it's got to do with what the result is another story. And it's, I've seen, it just happens. Yeah. Technicals, all the rest we can work on. Iron out silly mistakes, wrong calculator, position size, all that sort of thing we can work on. That's mid-floor. But what the figures are on the data release is clearly nobody knows except the guy doing it, and they're going to prison for life as they try to take advantage of that information. Very, very, very strict on it. EURCHF, must have been a reason because I looked at it actually, looked at all of them in fact. What do you want to do? You want to buy it? 9860. It's probably got a confirmed entry now. 9868, probably right about there now. You want to buy it? It's the neutral zone. It's above the 200 and below the 50. So no problem with that. If you want to buy it, I'm not so sure myself. First of all, I still think the Swiss franc is strongest. Euro's had a good run, but it's got 11 o'clock. It's CPI coming out. Be very aware of that. Just make sure it's today. I think it's today. Got it written down for the day. Just to check this thing out the way. I'll just check that for you. Tuesday, 11 o'clock is, yeah, CPI is coming out on the euro. So I wouldn't get cute with that one, number one. That's only what, in an hour and 10 minutes time. Number two, you're buying, that means just with franc, I'm not too sure. It's in the neutral zone, it's up against some resistance. I'm a good because of CPI, but if I had to, I think I'd probably look a bit of downside there rather than upside. Personally speaking, Morris, to be honest. Yeah, simply because they continue the extremely loose policy. They're the only nation that has not had any increase in interest rates. They've still got a 0.1. That's 10 basis points or 1/10 of 1% is their interest rate. Can you imagine having a prime rate of 10% of 1%, 0.1%? Can you imagine that? Hey, you know, you're borrowing at 8, 9, 10, 12, and the credit card 17, 18, 19, whatever it is. Can you imagine, eh? So as a result, they're continuing with that. And they weren't specifically saying we're trying to do all sorts of other things to overcome that problem because their debt is so high over there, they're a bit low to income. But even so, they can't just go on forever not increasing interest rates. They've got the stage where inflation is getting out of hand. They thought they'd go along with even Switzerland's done that. Everyone seemed to be doing it. And they decided not to. And that came as a big surprise to the market. And that's the yen fell through the floor. If the market expected, they'd say, you got a point. We won't go crazy. We'll do maybe 0.25%. We've got to do it. We've got to stand behind everybody else. As was expected, it probably got a reasonable bit of strength because they did nothing. It had an extremely large opposite reaction. To say if they had done as expected, it would have gone up a bit, sure. But the reaction to the negative was far more powerful because it was unexpected. I hope everyone understands that clearly. And look, Gerard does now. We'll just make sure everyone gets that. It's the unexpected that creates the big movements. And that's why it just caught us all, including myself. Okay. Drastic. Okay. I think it's going to continue forever, and that's why I think keep an eye on it, because I think we're going to get a stronger yen coming in. And I think most people are now sitting here going forward, seeing a stronger yen going into the future. So sit tight for the moment, keep a strong eye on it, and I think we might be able to take advantage of going into next week. I think that yen is very oversold, and long term, or certainly medium, expecting some strength under the yen. I think we can get some serious bottom fishing there, bargain hunting, whatever you want, and I think we might do pretty damn well out of it. So remind me, I'll remind you, play it together. We'll look at stronger yen next week, but I'm a little bit nervous this week. I'm sorry to say. NZD CAD for a buy. I presume CAS means CAD, and I guess I'm wrong. Tell me. It's a typo meaning NZD CAD.
Yes, right. Sorry, my apologies. I meant NZCAD.
Okay, no problem. Okay, that's fine. Typing all the time. I'm the last to criticize that. My mind goes a bit quicker than my one finger typing. I think chasing it now, not necessarily. I think for long, it's in a neutral zone. It gets you right up against resistance. It hasn't broken up the last couple of days. I'm not so sure that that's going to continue on the way up. It could do. How far we get to the next hurdle? Let's just check the distance. It's only 30 pips till we get there on the daily. I think it could even be a bit of pullback here. But is it worth selling the pullback? Will it pull back enough to make it worthwhile? Could be. If it does, you can get a stop there, 1100 pips, 110 pips, beg your pardon. With a stop up there, yeah, we could certainly do it on a short basis. But haven't really. My problem is just range trading at the moment in a very narrow range of about 40, 45 pips. That's my worry. So Farnian. That's my worry at the moment. It's such a narrow range. It's been there for the last week. And it could break up, could break down. I personally would like to break down, but I can't see good enough trade at the moment with such a narrow range to make it worthwhile. I personally would break down. Jacob, I'm with you on that. I'd rather sell it. My problem is not enough meat on the bones. I think it was Clinton was saying Impala, apparently. The problem with Impala, it might be quite a common buck, but a lot of people don't go for it because there's not a lot of meat on the bones. I didn't know that. I think it was last week, actually. So simple as that. Impala, this one. Is it worth chasing after? Is it enough meat on the bones to make it worthwhile? So, yeah, that's why I can get away. Always remember, I might be doing a couple of years, I might be sitting here, regulate to give advice, but still, it's still an opinion. Remember that. So we have to have different ones. That's what creates a market. And it's very important you voice yours as well. And you could be right, I could be wrong. I'll be the first to put my hand up. No, it's a lie. I'll be about 130, but I'll still put my hand up. Joking apart, it's yeah. Quick way to overcome egos. We try to win for everyone. Okay, so yeah, I would look at the short. I'm with Jacob on that, but I'm not so sure I'm joining you now. Just not worth it. And to tie your money up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, you're talking about 2.5 weeks, which may or may not get there. And the trouble is, again, we have this unfortunate problem, sir. Too many people have far too small accounts, and so they haven't got the money to tie money up because then they can't trade. Just don't have the balance, and that's the issue. So I'm trying to encourage people to understand the mass of it, that they think, oh no, you're trying to sell me something, get money out. No, I'm not. I'm trying to get people just to think objectively. If you have a money account, you can diversify. Everyone's talking about all the eggs in one basket. You've got no choice. You've got to have money to go into 2 or 3 different trades. and diversify and hold on longer or shorter. If you get into this one, you're stuck for 2.5 weeks because you haven't got any money to free margin left to trade elsewhere. And that is the problem. And it's purely from lack of confidence and things like that. Just saying, if you're trying to do this properly, I mention every time, you've got to have the knowledge. That's what the SMC sell you. Here, practical trading room. It's not where you're going to get free lessons, by the way. That's for guys who invest in SMC. But we do the practical side. You need the right, equipment. And unfortunately, you do need capital. It's a capitalist business. And trying to do it without capital, or without knowledge, or without internet, that's not going to happen. Clearly. As I say, we try and get quite a few trades out, hopefully good ones, but always going to be one or two that are not so good. And so I need to take all the trades, but if you can't afford it, you've got to pick one, and that can be a problem. You might pick the wrong one. Okay, right, so that's about it on that subject. There's a few new names in here. I just want to put my details up there. Give me a second while I type it out. Don't do me too many typos here. Give me a moment. Okay, as always, remember, I get busy here. So if you do want to keep in contact with me, with pleasure, it's part of what I do. But please, not if you've got no money in your account on a demo, I can't assist you. You've got to have a funded live account and I can assist you. If you've got more than 2,500 around, or $150 in your account, just let me know and I'll upgrade you to the VIP club where you get daily updates and stuff like that. Okay. Extra privileges, and the major reason you've got more money, so you can say, so you can diversify. If you've got 500 or 600, 700 rand, you can trade on it, but you can only go one at a time. Otherwise, you're overexposed. Always remember when you trade, you guys, make sure after you place the trade, you've got enough free margin. If you don't, and the market moves up and down, it moves against you, what will happen then? You'll be margin called. Remember, you've got to maintain free margin. If the free margin disappears, the cut trade will be closed. It's as simple as that. Nothing to do with your stop loss, nothing to do with us, anything like that. It's worldwide things. Absolutely, you've got to make sure you keep money in your free margin. If you don't, then you'll be margin called. The biggest position will be closed. If you don't want that to happen, you can partially close or close one yourself before that happens. The figure to keep an eye on is actually 80%, but I'd rather be kept above 90. Just in case. So make sure you've got enough free margin. And if you haven't, either put more margin in or don't trade till you have, or whatever, I don't know, you've got to make a plan. Don't try and go into war with a slingshot. Try and get the right ammunition, do the job properly. Okay. We're doing a session. I'll just post that for you. But remember, you can join with pleasure, but only if you've got bucks in your account. Please don't take a seat up at the non-farms. You've got no money on a trading. I'll copy and paste it for you just so away as well. I've sent out to all my QT membership guys. Sorry, but I'll just copy and paste for you guys here. But please, again, if you've got basically not enough money, you can't do it. Where's your car now? In a second. There you are. Same ID, just register it in the normal way on the Zoom, and it can be, as you can see, 2 to 3 p.m. Same, no trading room Zoom. No change there. But I just beg of you, I mean, you can come in if you like, but I'd rather you didn't. If you haven't got the money, I'll show how it works, but it's all academic. It's for those who want to make a quick buck on using what we call straddle trade. for the non-farms coming out on Friday. So like it, we're going to do one on US CPI and one on non-farms every month. Well, I am anyway. Hope all good. This coming Friday. Any questions on that? Just unmute and ask, or post on the chat line. Always remember, if you don't interact, I don't know the questions you need to ask. I can't assist. Don't go, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to give up and run away. Ask, and then I hopefully will clarify it for you. That's the idea, anyway. Okay, so you got my details, right? Everyone should have what's called a position size calculator. This is not for shares, it's for everything but BUT shares. So you need to know your volume. You don't go shopping without knowing your budget. You need to know your budget, what you're prepared to risk, and the calculator works it out. It's vital. Biggest problem we have with people is they're not going out with the right position size. The volumes are all not correct because they haven't worked it out correctly. This will do it for you. So if you haven't got it, go to the live chat, go to tech support and have it downloaded onto your laptop. You say, I don't have a laptop. Well, I suggest as soon as you can, you get one. You need the right tools to do the job. But in the meantime, for your phone, you'll have to find where the app store. You'd ask me, what do I recommend? I don't know. I don't know because I don't use it on my phone. I use this one on a laptop. And the phone is just because it's mobile, just handy in case my laptop. I'm usually in front of it. I'm not for whatever reason. I've got the phone there handy. That's the only reason because it's mobile. But I don't need to strategy anything on it. It's just mobile to modify, close, or whatever. If I'm not on the laptop at the time. Okay, so everyone must have the calculator. Very important. Okay. If you are going to do shares, then you need to go to LMS, and there you'll find the position size calculator, an Excel spreadsheet for you there. And shares, remember, only open 1+3, and don't go in 0.01 of a share. The volumes are much higher, and you know this because what you do is you look at, let's say, a currency, you right click, left click on specification, contract size is 100,000. It's rather different to a share, which might be contract size only 1. Okay, so clearly you might go into 10 shares, 5 shares, or 5.0 on a share, but you might go 0.03, something like that in the Forex. Different volumes, this you need to know. It gives you the margin or deposit there, 5%. So you know the leverage because you divide the margin to 100, gives you 11. The shares are 20-1 leverage, but obviously the Forex depends on how highly leveraged the account is, much higher leverage than that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to classes. You can't trade a leverage product if you don't know your leverage product, clearly. Very important you know that. So you know the specifications, etc. Other thing I want to explain till we get trade ideas or whatever is don't forget, save your charts. Just right click on a blank piece of chart, go down to templates and save the template, and put your name in there and click on save. And then so when you lose your chart for whatever reason, or press the wrong button, I don't know, all you just go back to templates and you pick the one you saved, click on it, and it comes up and running again. So save it. Have your position size calculator. You've got my details. You've got the calendar details and the other post just now. You need to know what properties or any specific instruments. You left click, any of them, doesn't matter where, right click, and then left click on specification gives there. Contract size 10. If you go to the micro Dow Jones, it says contract size 1. So clearly that's 10% the size of the contract. So it's a much smaller volume of risk because it's a much smaller volume. So the contract size of 10 is 1. Clearly it's 1/10 of the size of the contract. So you could do it on small. You can do the micros on the Dow and the NAS on smaller accounts. On bigger accounts, you can do the normal one. But don't try and jump in if you've got 1,000 or 2, and you start playing around with the Dow on the normal one, you're going to be overexposed. So that's when the micro becomes very useful to you. And if you've got a couple more bucks, you might want to get confidence on the micro before you graduate to the bigger contract. Simple as that. Hope that's all clear. If not, ask, and I shall supply, hopefully, the information for you. If I don't, I'll get one of the other guys to try and explain it better than I have, as long as you understand it. Someone just watched that. There is a trading room privately. Maybe we'll try. Oh, hi, Jose. You are. I'll answer that afterwards. I know your account. It's not been discussed on here, but clearly I know everyone's account. Well, check it. I can't. Thousands of people on the top of my head, but I can go to the admin and check it out. But I know that, etc. So just keep. You've got my WhatsApp number. If I see anything, obviously I'll let you know. But more to the point, chase me as well. A lot of people, so basically, I'm shooting to chase me. I wish I was a bit prettier for you, Mr. Fernandez, but I'm sorry, I am not tough. But you still have to chase me. So yeah, just say I haven't seen trade ideas come out. I'm looking at the euro dollar or gold or something, or what do you think of this, or have you got something for me, or whatever. And yeah, interact on the WhatsApp with pleasure. Hope that's all clear. But don't overtrade the account for the sake of it. One of the bigger problems as well, people overtrade the account. I think the more they put in, the more they get out. Well, if you get them wrong, not necessarily that's going to work out for you. Okay. Sometimes going to be famine, sometimes going to be feast. That's the way of it. When you get major fundamentals come out, famine, when you get sometimes, good times are coming, you might get so many, you can't take them all. I've had days we get 6, 7, 8. We've had them. Marnia's been here, where she's had maybe a dozen or so over 2 or 3 days, and just don't have the account to handle them all. So it's feast or famine. That's the way of life. Okay. No. Yeah, but that's correct. Yeah, quite correct. I'll go back to it anyway. What was it now? CAD JPY. Looks like that ship sailed there. Yeah, if you want to do it, there'll be a sell limit because above a buy limit, below your spot on. Quite right. If it's a worse price, don't ever put a sell stop or a buy stop in for a worse price unless we're putting it out for a specific reason. Rather wait till it's broke through resistance. But for instance, we want to sell that and the trade just goes at 101.40 and the price is 101.50. Oh, obviously, if you like the trade, then you're going at market because you're getting a better price on a sell and vice versa. It's like saying, price the house is £1,000,000, but you see the price is now offered at 900. You wouldn't wait till it gets to 1 million to buy it. You jump in quick at 900, you're getting a better price. So that's fine. Yeah, very simple. Yeah. If ever it's grayed out, it means you might not have ticked the disclaimer. For legal reasons, every time you go into your MT5 platform, a risk disclaimer comes up. You've got to click on the OK it to say you're aware of the risks involved in trading, and then OK it, and then it should be grayed out. If you've done all that and it's still grayed out, then you're going to have to go to technical support on the live chat because there might be something like should be made inactive, or I don't know, something must have been happened to it. But try that first. Make sure that the disclaimer is ticked. And not say where it is, you can't miss it. It'll come out right in front of you, bang on your chart, you can't miss it, right in your face. Click the little box there and OK. Okay, what happens every time. Good question. Contract size. Let's say this: you want to know what the margins or what the leverage is on this one. So all you do is you look at here, you right click, and you go to specification. The contract size for 1.0 is 100,000 Canadian dollars. That's what it means. So the exposure for one standard contract, CAD JPY 1.0, is 100,000 Canadian dollars. Okay, the margin, depending on your account, on this account is 0.005. If you divide that into 100, means the leverage on this particular instrument is 200 to 1. Okay, the 1% movement of the underlying means 200% movement to you. Highly leveraged. Okay, and that's how it works. Clearly, if you're getting 0.1 or 1 mini, then the contract size reduced to 10,000 Canadian, and if you go for a micro, the contract size is 1,000 Canadian, and there you put your deposit down, which would be 0.05%, and that's what your margin deposit will be. Okay, it's like you buy a car for R1,000,000, top of the range motor car for R1,000,000. Let's say the leverage is 0.01, not 0.05, 0.01. That would be 0.01 or 1% of 100 is clearly 100 times. So the contract value for one car exposure is 1 million rand, right? That's the exposure. But your deposit to buy the motor car, to keep your pay the balance again, that's what the swap fees are for, would be 100th of that, which would be 10,000 rand. So you put a 10,000 rand deposit, the rest on the bond, and you buy your motor car. Same house, same principle. Putting deposit down, the leverage, you divide that deposit margin into 100 gives you leverage. I hope everyone's aware of that. It's vital, people, when you're trading, to know these things. This is very, very important. Without knowing this, is like driving on the highway without a speedometer. You need to know the speed you're driving, clearly. Dangerous not to. Well, actually, it will financially upset you if you don't know the speed. Okay. This is not equity, this is derivative. Speculative leverage trading. There's a big difference. Hope all clear with that. Thanks for the question. I'm trying to encourage people to do that. And usually the answer is not frighteningly difficult, just well aware of it, cleaned it up. And I'm honest, I don't know, I'm going to say so. I'm not trying to make it up because I'm scared to look a fool, because I don't know. And there'll be someone clever like Farney will pick it up anyway. I don't know, Marie will work around and say, yeah. You made that up on the wing. And they'll catch me out and I'll feel even bigger fool. So I don't know, somebody else might, or we can Google it and look it up. But yeah, that's fine, great. Luckily, I usually do that, thank goodness. To save embarrassment. Chat JPS, Marnie, it is indeed, yeah. Well, don't say that, by the way, Marnie. I suffer something called the commentator's curse. It's my biggest scourge, the commentator's curse. Yeah. I've got more cricketers out in my commentator's curse than the bowler ever has. He's batting well. Out, and I say that, he's out next ball. That's called the commentator's curse. Oh, it's coming down. Till you said that, Mark, it's all your fault. Jumped up a couple of trips. All your fault. Okay. Where were we? Okay, hope that's all explained. As I say, I'm fortunate warning you, it's important you attend the trading for knowledge times, but just for the more older hands in the game and some of the frustrated new guys saying, where are all these trades I'm expecting? You're not going to get a trade because it seems like a good idea at the time. Or you say, I want a trade, I'll give you one pleasure. Buy the UCHF. There you are. Go and buy it. There you are. Well, why? Why what? You get the idea. No, look into it. And even so, it might look like a good one, but there might be something big coming out on the news front, fundamental news front, that makes me a little bit nervous to go for it. If you want to get lucky, well, go for it. But if you want to do it a little bit, get the edges side, then sometimes you are going to have to stand back and wait. Enjoy the good times, when it's going well. When it's not so good, rather keep clear. Otherwise, you get even more fed up. When it fundamentally comes in, you go the wrong way, it smacks you because you're too keen to get involved. Patience, discipline, like most things in life, is required in trading, as much as any business. I was bringing up Marnie there, an engineer. You didn't become an engineer without putting some work in and being disciplined. I bet there's quite a few weekends when you study there, Marnie, where you think, God, I really don't feel like doing it. But you did. I mean, at this period now, I've done what we call CPD, continual professional development. We've got to do a certain amount of hours every year. And well, like everything else, I don't feel like doing it, but I did. You know what I mean? You got it. So unfortunately, it's a pain, exactly, Marnie. Just something like that. And trying to get rid of people who think they're going to start getting the same kind of money as a mechanical engineer with a master's degree by not bothering to do anything work. There's no such thing, unfortunately. You've got to put some effort in. It's pain in the backside, though, I do agree. Unless you're a real sort of bookworm type. Well, I am, but I enjoy good fiction, exciting page turners. Not studying myself. Who does, eh? Yeah. What else can I say? Okay, right. Well, let's see how that pops around for 15 minutes. Seems to be trying anyway, so we'll see how it goes. I still think the AUD-JPY might get a bit of a pullback. It seems to be pulling back below here. I think we could do this. It's holding there on the weekly, on the 50-day moving. If you haven't got these moving averages, please tell me, and I'll just point them out to you. Save them. These two, the blue and the brown, are very important. Very strongly suggest. In fact, no, I'm going to issue a Roger Trading Room Support Directive. Have them. Very, very important. International use. Trade support is offline. So it looks like I missed this signal. Oh, yours offline, is it? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. We're definitely offline. We're definitely online. I've got inverted back up the whole toots. Okay, you're a GBP. We'll look at that in a moment, but I think we can start looking at selling a pullback on this. I think that's reaching exhaustion. Look at this, it's moved over the last 3.5 days. See, 120 pips. We can put the stop above here. Where's that? 60. Put it up here. Get a decent stop. Yeah, we can just stop right out the way since February this year. That's what 3 months ago. And we've got plenty of downside, take it down here or even down here. Plenty. I think it's got a chance of pullback on this one. Look at the 4 hour. Don't like this wick here. Look at the 1 hour. Don't like this wick. Oh no, I thought we'd get a decent candle. I like the 15-minute bit better because these bounced. It tried to go up further. The sellers came in. Don't know if you want to wait a little bit, but this seems to be holding on the daily. It's holding on the weekly, and the 15-minute seems to be, as it pops up, the sellers are coming in. I think we can get some sort of profit-taking pullback here, and I think the yen going forward might be worth buying. What do you think, guys? We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We're rushing this a bit, or what do you think? I think the possibility of a trade here on the short side. If you see what I'm trying to get at there. But as I say, why do you think about that? If you don't have the 200 brown line and the 50-day, both simple moving average, please add them and right-click and save them. Save the template. If you like the 10, which I do, and the 100, which is the black, and that red one, the maroon one's a 10, or magenta, is it maroon or magenta? Magenta, sorry, it's a 10. We put those in. So that's magenta 10, blue 50, black 100, brown 200, all simple day moving averages. They are useful and they do a lot of filtering, support, resistance. Very, very useful. More than half a dozen of some indicators you thought, which are lagging the price action. Anyway, so anybody like the look of this, or do you think you're getting a bit concerned, wait a bit, or what do you think? Things a possibility of a pullback here. What do you guys reckon? This show the new guys your newfound knowledge there, ladies and gentlemen. Anna Marie's going to wait. That's fair enough. We call it LIA, guys. Leave it alone. What was Morris come up with? It's the observance zone or something towards that thing. That is the observance zone, something like that. That looks quite good. Wait for confirmation. So you want to leave this, do you? And then, yeah, well, I've got it written down. If you want to come back and check it, I think this has got a chance. Maybe it's a bit aggressive, and you like as well. Maybe it's a bit aggressive jumping down, but I think it's a big possibility there. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Okay. All right, that's at least got the feedback, which is important. Okay, anyone feels aggressive on it, I'll put the risk calculator up with pleasure. Okay, you're a GBP, was it Ken? I think Ken did that. You're a GBP. Got to sell on that. No, we've got to buy on that one, I think. Just give them some jip. We should still be in it. We've already got one as a buy and giving us some jip, this one. Yeah, we got this out on the 26th. Sounds a long time ago. I remember half a dozen holidays, only a couple of actually trading days ago. 88.50, 87.82. I think we might have stopped out. I think we stopped out, unfortunately. Suddenly came off here. Okay. All right, so that's good to even start Monday, isn't it? But yeah, I think I've just been stopped out. I still trying to chase it, maybe leave. Anyway, it's up to you. I still believe upside, to be honest with you. Just been smacked. Rather take a deep breath or chasing it. Not trade support, should be online actually. I'm talking technical support. Prince, trade support. I do trade support when I'm not in the trading room, but there should be a Clinton there. He should be filling on trade support, but technical support in the live chat should be there. So go to live chat, Prince, and go to technical support. They might be able to assist you. I don't know what trade support doing offline, to be honest. I know I'm not there because I'm here, but I'm not sure what Clinton's on there. Probably good reason. But okay, sorry, Prince there. Go to live chat, go to technical support. They should sort it. Okay. Here's one of them keeping an eye on. We tried to look at it last week, I think it was, and no one seemed very keen on it. I thought it was a possibility of a short last week, right about these levels here. Stop up there. Nobody liked it. Looked like it would have worked out all right. I still think we could chase it, but put the stop. Yeah, we still chase it. The stop up here. I want a wide stop. We don't want a CHF wide capital all over again, where we had a tight stop, got stopped out, and the thing shot about 350 pips. That breaks your heart. So we can put a stop up here somewhere and set it down. I think the Swiss franc is still the strongest, and we'll certainly get some sort of slightly slide this up. 1-3, need about 880 pips, sorry. 80 pip will take us there. Probably squeeze about there. That's another one I like to look at as a possible downside. Let's have a look at the weekly. Almost a range trade there. It seems to be holding the highs, which helps the cause. Day we looked at, 4 hour. Sellers held on the 4 times 200 moving average. See how it works? Right in the dot there. No. A little bit of stuff to go through here, but I think there's a possibility there. Did you be God? No, that worked. Trade didn't seem too bad. You should be stood out in the profit. We had a few trades out on that, and as far as I'm concerned, they all seem to make money. They should have. I don't stopped out in the profit in theory. You know that. Sometimes people complain, not you, from some guys out there who can complain about the signals. You look into it because you have access to the admin on it, and find it's either not a signal they chose, it's something else anyway, not one of our signals, or they just didn't do the signal properly. Or they were margin called because they went in not understanding, went in too big, and they got stopped out what turned out to be a profitable trade because they went in too big and didn't have enough margin to handle it. Misreading the signal usually is a problem.
Sorry, Roger. Now I remember what happened. It went into profit and I didn't move my stop loss up. And then the next morning I wake up and it's in the red. That's what happened. Now I remember.
Well, at least you take a sense of humor. Yeah, good enough. Fair comment. Yeah. Not the end of the world. Okay, good stuff. Thanks. Right, but I see some downside on this. Anyone like this GBP CHF as downside? If you like, and then I'll put it up. It'll be up above the 50, above the 100, above the 200 stop loss. Yeah, I like it. Even on the EJS one, sell possibility on that one. No, only on the normal one. Does anybody see a possibility of this one? I want to look into more depth. Anyone think it might be a long? Oh, thanks, Madeira. Just help me out. See, the guys will help you out. That's one thing. It's like they're not all after themselves here. They're good lads. Thanks for that, Madeira. Like a family. Right? If I can't help you, somebody else will check it out for us. Brilliant. I like that attitude. We're here to help each other, guys. Not EJ, no, I just checked. It's above. Look at the outline. It's above this. We get a cent, it's got to be below that. Not enough free margin, then you can't do much about it. Okay, if you believe in the stochastic, I didn't use them, but I'll put it up for you. I'm going to use this one here, the default one. There we are. Why is that conflicting? It's at the top. That in theory should be overbought, so it might come off a bit. But remember, that can stick around those levels forevermore, and the thing will go screaming up again. More of the point, it's below the 3, it's in the sell zone, and the oscillator might be a bit overcooked. But whatever, I think we can slide. And I don't think continual strength of the pound will overcome the Swiss franc. I think it could be some down.
Hi, Roger.
What's called a channel consolidated channel indicator. Downwards, okay, fair enough. That's the best objection, Anne-Marie. You've got enough margin, not much choice in the matter. Why don't you buy my fantastic new Rolls Royce? Well, I haven't got enough money. Oh, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, if you like stochastics, there and up. So anyway, anyone like this? Anyone got enough free margin or any comments? I don't know why that is. It's second, just give me a second. Sorry, Prince, you can ask why that is. Hang on. It should be online now. Maybe it's in a meeting. Just asking. Okay. Maybe it's a quick meeting, might be just continuing anyway. Sorry about the hassle, Prince, I'll be honest. I thought tech support could sort you. Anyway. It's not been made inactive. I can't go and check a can out now. I'm trading clearly. But the only thing I think of, I don't know, if you haven't got enough money in your account, they'll make it inactive. Have you got enough funds in there to make it active? When I say funds, don't say like 10 Rand. Like some guy put in 10 Rand the other day. I mean, I question the veracity of that thinking. But assume you've got funds in your account. If you haven't, it might be made inactive. Then because you have to have it reactivated by placing funds. Have you got a fully funded account there, Prince? That often becomes a hassle because they make it inactive. Might be a point. That's it. Well, you know, until you put funds in, obviously, then you can't. Okay, but I don't know. You might have 10 grand or whatever. You've got to keep above 80%. You've got to keep it above 80%. So I said to play safe, keep it above 90%. If you've got less than 100% margin over less than 100%, don't go into another trade. Okay. Because I can't say amount, it depends on the size of the account. You know what I mean? Everything's relative to the size of your account. If you got £1 million, you got 10 grand free margin. You got a tiny free margin. You know, if you got a 20 grand, you got 10 grand free margin. You got plenty of free margin. It's relative to the size of your account. So you just look at the margin level. Keep it above 90% to play safe, or you get risky margin call. And if it's below 100%, so margin 100%. Below that figure there, don't think against another trade. The bottom line, I have to say, guys, no way around it. You've got to have capital to be in the business. Any business you go into, whatever it happens to be, you need capital. It's a prerequisite. And try to trade without adequate capital, it's always going to be an uphill struggle. It's just a fact of life, you know. That's why you don't open tiny little sort of corner shop beside Pick and Pay, because they're obviously, you can't compete because they've got bigger capital, clearly. So that's the bottom line. you need some capital, but if you haven't, so be it. You want to do the best you can with it. But the expectations of people without capital it's a contradiction in terms. Lower capital expectations don't seem to do that, and that's where you get that contradiction. So no, nothing wrong with old banger, but expect people at the top of their end range Merck, yeah. Clearly. Okay. So yeah, just keep an eye on those percentages. Otherwise, you're going to get margin called in the noise. And it's very frustrating if the trade is correct and you're not on board because you're margin. And 9% of the people, streamers who are playing around, who check their accounts and they've got inadequate funds to sustain the trading, and that's why they've been closed here. And most of them, actually, unfortunately, don't understand or been to any classes or done anything to realize they're actually in highly leveraged speculative positions. They don't realize that. They think they do, but they don't. And on that subject, I presume everyone here now knows there's a major difference between equity and derivatives. We're in leverage. Derivatives means leverage position. You derive the deposit or margin from the underlying, right? If you buy a house and you put down a £1 million house, you put 100 grand deposit down at derivatives. You derive the 100 grand deposit from the £1 million price of the house. That's what's the derivatives. Equity, when you pay the house cash. So I say I'll buy 1,000 Sasol shares or Apple shares or whatever. That's equity. When you put a deposit or margin down, that's derivatives. Anybody not aware of that and understand the leverage instruments, it's much quicker, but it compensates with actually higher risk, higher return. But it, don't forget, it moves much quicker in your favor, but it can also move much quicker against you, like a fast car. So just be aware, you got your seatbelt on when you're driving. Same principle, stop loss, correct position sizing. Are we all aware of that? You're in leveraged positions. So as I say, before you trade, you need to get knowledge, and I'm assuming you bought the course. And to all explain, I'm assuming I don't attend the course clearly. It should be all explained in the classes there. Are we all aware of that? Dita, everybody, we're all aware of that. Using leveraged speculative positions trades. It's trading, it's not investing, it's trading, the difference. So you don't risk money you can't afford to risk. You got that. Good. I'm happy about that. Well, that's because you took the trouble to come to training, you learned that stuff. Good stuff. Proud of you. Good. And you've all got the calculator. If you haven't, please go and get it. Everyone doesn't have a calculator, go and get it from the live chat technical support. Please, please, please get it. Do not trade with incorrect volumes. That's going to come up and bite. Always think you don't go out shopping the weekend without a budget, and then suddenly you haven't got enough money to last the month because you just bought stuff off the shelf without asking about your budget, simple. Okay. Okay, so nobody wants to do this. It's come off a few clips. This is going to hold around figure 1.12. Round figure 1.12, psychology area of support resistance. Nobody want to do it? Anybody want to do it? If so, I'll put the calendar. Nobody wants to do it. I won't waste your time, obviously. I think he might be in a meeting, Clinton, because I just sent him a WhatsApp and he's very, very good at coming back immediately. So he might be in a meeting at the moment. So just have to be a bit patient there. Beg your pardon, Prince. But just bear in mind, I don't want to see your account, but I've had guys saying I can't do this, that, and the other, and I've checked their account, which I can't do now in the trading room, and they've got squat on their accounts. They've been made inactive. That's the reason. If you want to make it active, like the technical support will do that, But don't do it if you say you can obviously deposit funds. If you don't, they'll deactivate it again. Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Everyone else waiting for confirmation or to do the trade. Okay, I'll move on. What's the other one we looked at? Was the AUD JPY, I think, wasn't it? Nobody seemed keen on that, wanted to wait. Anything happening there? Not much. Looks like it's pretty quiet. What else? CAD JPY. Not doing too badly, yeah. A lot more the trade, isn't it? I didn't write it down. Just give me a second. I've got to write it down. Just copy it down a second. 101.59. 102.60. And 99.50. Uh, 135 per micro is your risk. So how useful that is, tells you your risk is, you know, you can work it out. That's nice, Ed. So close it down to 60, it's now 26. If it drops below 20, guys, you can modify your stop down to entry, and then you're protected against loss. I just hope it goes further down, so you either win or win with money or lose nada. You won't win anything, but at least you won't lose protection. But don't get down just yet. So you can reduce your risk if you want by bringing it down 20, 30 pips if you want to bring your stop loss down. But don't get to entry yet. Give it a bit of room to move yet. Don't want your stop too close. We discussed this a lot the last couple of weeks. People are taking the profit far too quickly, holding the losses far too long because they're scared to take a loss and scared the profit taken away. In the end, they've got to win instead of lose 2 out of 3, and they're doing okay. They're still losing because the loss is far bigger than the ones they win on if they're taking the profit too quick. And that's purely emotional trading. Try and get out of that habit. Modify your stop, and you can cut your position as well. You don't have to take it. I hope you all know that. I'm just quickly go through that for you. Okay, I'm not doing very well in my trades at the moment, but that happens. It's tough. We'll sit it out anyway. If you want to cut your position, I don't normally cut the position to losing. Well, let the stop loss do its thing. If you want to cut your position, you go to the volume. There you are, and you've got 0.35. Let's say you want to cut half. We'll make it around. I've got 35 micros. Okay, I want to cut maybe 20. I just put in 0.2. I hope you all get that, and then you press close, and you bank 20 micros, and you'd have 15 micros left. Now change to 0.15. Have you all got that? Some people, I'm pretty sure, they don't know. You have to close the entire one. If you're doing well, you can modify your stop. If you're getting a bit nervous, you have to close the entire trade. Bank some of it by double-clicking on the volume, putting the volume that you want to close, and then clicking on the close, and the residual will be left in your account. Straightforward. I'm taking some jip on this one here, but we'll see. It's a nice profit. You know, it is. See if it comes right. Hope you all got that, guys. So everyone should know that. 11 o'clock, don't forget Euro CPIs, to be careful of the Euro. Coming out in 20 minutes' time. Check it anyway, just a second. Economic calendar gets out of the way. Yeah, I sent you a 2-star, that one. That's not the PPI, that's the housing price index, HPI. Slight on the year-to-year, slightly lower, and slightly better on the monthly. So short-term increase, the year is still a bit lower. There's a 2-star, so no panic there. I'm not sure. I'm not surprised finding a company where they are. Surprised it might have eased up a bit. It's ridiculously priced over there. I don't know about now, it's a few years ago now. The average house price over 200,000 quid. That's ridiculous. So many guys just can't grow up property ladder. And they're not special houses. Some of those houses are 200,000 quid. That's 4 million rand. You look at the state of them. What the hell? What? Couldn't swing your big toe if you had one of those in London, I tell you. Ridiculous. Anyway, so be it. So anyway, that trade seems at the moment anyway seems going all right. You just drop to 20 or below on the bid, fat on the buy, on the ask, and then we can modify stop. So we'll complete the trade later on. You see it drop below 120, modify your stop. Make sure it protect in case it bounces. Funny things happen out there. Okay. But give it a try. It might come off, might come down, might even hit your TP, and then you're not on board to take it too quick. But modify to protect. Okay, guys, you all got my number. You've all got, so remember, $2.5 grand or $150 or more. Just let me know and I'll upload you to the VIP group. And yeah, and take it from there. We've all got the calendars, you know, the basics. I'll go through them every time and it doesn't take long. You need people aware of that. Try to clean up and get on top of the things we can control. Can't control the gold price, we can control the other stuff. So the quicker we get the hang of that, the better. And then, yeah. And ask Marnie, you don't have to be frightened. It's a lot easier getting an engineering degree. Study-wise, anyway. Cheers, Ken. Oh, sorry. Cheers to Anna Maria. So you just Anna Maria, beg your pardon. Cheers, Anna Maria. Catch you this afternoon, 4 o'clock. And don't forget, Friday. Normally, we don't have a session Friday afternoon, you guys, but we will this time, 2 till 3, to do a straddle trade and on farms. So that's important. So we can do that. Trade ideas. I might quickly share what I mean. Please beg if you don't come in if you've got a few $100 in your account, you won't be able to make use of it. And you get people who have got money, want to make use of it, they can't get in because it's taken up by guys who can't make use of it. It's no point. I'll quickly go through it with you anyway. So at least I will go through it again on the 2 o'clock on the Friday, but at least you'll have an added advantage. You'll have to repeat it 10 times. We usually use the euro dollar. I'm boring some of you guys, and you got a trade idea, please interrupt because the trading on this is for those coming first on trading ideas. Basically, we normally go and look at the 15-minute. We place a buy stop above the market, a sell stop below the market, and we place the trade about 5 minutes before the release the data +2. So what we do, we go to euro dollar, we do this quite simple. We go to the volume, work out about 80 rand a micro to work out your volumes, 80 rand per 0.01, 0.01 being a micro. So you work your own volume out, okay? And then what you do is then you go to market execution, you put in pending order, you start with the buy stop, got that? And then you're going to put in the price, it'll be 10 pips above. And in this case, it'll be 1.0980. You can see it on here actually, 1.0990. So you put in 1.0990 and you place the price. Show you here. You just go right click, go down to trade levels, it tells you there it is sitting there. Then you do the same thing, go to euro dollar, put in exactly the same volume you worked out, but this time you put in a sell stop, not a sell limit, a sell stop. No TP, you notice, no SLTP, right? Then you put a figure 10 pips below the sell, in this case be 1.0968. And then you place the order. Right, so you got a sell stop below, a buy stop above. If the market comes out on the release, the figure's in favor and it shoots up, favor the euro, not the dollar, but never mind, in favor of the upside, shoots up and it takes this guy and shoots up there. You immediately click on here, or however, delete this order. However you're comfortable with it, delete that order, shoots up there. Then you can put a stop loss in, it's up there somewhere, maybe at entry or whatever, and then just keep on modifying to stop that and be very profitable. If the opposite occurs, it comes shooting down, the first thing you do is you go and get rid of your buy stop, run this down, you can put in your stop loss or whatever afterwards, depending on the situation, follow it down. We're hoping to get a decent movement by having a discrepancy between the expected and the actual. If it comes out at the actual, sometimes you get a disappointing result jumping around a bit. There's a major difference. You should see a big move, and it's extremely profitable. Okay, we don't know what it's going to be. It doesn't matter. If it's great, it goes in your favor. The other one, if it's the other way around, I'm shooting off. It doesn't matter. Just close this one and run with whatever trade gets filled with. Sell stop or the buy stop, doesn't matter. Close the other one immediately on release and take it from there. Simple as that. Everyone got that? Cheers now, Jose. Everyone got that? And it can be very good. Have you tried this, Marnie? I don't think you were here last time. Marnie, if you haven't tried it, please join us. And yeah, it could be very good. If you get a nice discrepancy between the actual and expected, you should see a decent movement. And then you can be grabbing that beautifully. You make 100 pips very quickly. In a few minutes. Sometimes, depending how it comes out. Yeah. Anyone not understanding the mechanics of that? Got an idea of it? I'll go through it again, but to quickly understand it, because I can only go through it on at 2 o'clock to about 2:20. Then we're going to start slowing down because we're going to start placing the orders. You still haven't got it by then, right? Then clearly you won't be able to place the orders. It's called a straddle trade. Everyone got that? Anybody not understanding that? And when you want to get rid of it, it's quite simple. We'll do now. Let's get rid of it. Right, click on here. And you can move this around as well if you want. See, you can modify it like that. Just drag it up and down. Everyone got that? Because it can be very profitable. Those who've done it the last couple of times, big smile on their face going to the weekend. Yeah. Well, it works. I'm hoping there's going to be a discrepancy. Then it's 5%. All good, guys? Any questions on anything we discussed this morning? Just before we go into the close for this morning's session, remember again at 4 o'clock. Anything you want to discuss? Anything you're not sure? Just a bit of clarification. I might have gone a little bit quickly, spoke too quick, or something like that. Here's your chance. I repeat it so once or twice. Okay, I'm just going to WhatsApp from Clinton that he's back on. So if you're still with us, Prince, you can go on now. It's a live chat, that is. He's clearing the meeting. There, I've been a backup from Adiri, and he just joined. He just started. He's not all had, been doing it for 10 years and like that. He started, got the hang of it, and it came up more than expected. So even then, he made a good profit. Can you imagine if there was a big disparity between the expected and the actual? Then it would have been a seriously big smile. Morning, Chepo. We're just about finishing, actually, a little bit on the late side here, I'm afraid. We're just about to actually knock off. But we do have another one at 4 o'clock if you want to join us, but welcome anyway. That's the main thing. Welcome, and good to have you. So we've all got the straddle trade. We all understand that. Okay, that's fine. Join us again at 4, and if we have quite a moment there, again, it might happen. I'll again explain the straddle trade quickly. It won't take long for those who missed out, and then make some good money on that one. It's a beaut to do. Do it twice a month, and it's worked pretty well the few times we've done it. Only time a guy hasn't done well, it either traded wrong, or they put half it in, or they don't know what they did. But did something wrong, but they're a bit too shy to explain what. It's a pity because they couldn't iron out what they did wrong. Okay, if there's nothing else, guys, should we call that a day and then catch you later on at 4 o'clock? Well, morning, rather. Any questions? Anything before we just move on? Okay, great stuff. Okay, guys, well, good luck with this morning's trade, and take it from there. Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining, as always. You're $1. Difficult to call the moment. 11 o'clock, Chepo, is CPI coming out in the Eurozone. So it depends what happens at 11 o'clock, if it jump up or jump down, depending on what happens there. So next to impossible to call until the 11 o'clock. It's only about 5 minutes release, okay? Keep an eye on that. I'm not going to call it till they release that fundamental. I'll tell you what, just before I go, I'm just going to put that on for you. You should have it, just in case you don't. Here's the economic calendar. It's going to copy and paste it for you. So make sure you got it for referring to going forward. There you are, Chepo. There you are. And I'm just going to quickly do the dollar index for you as well. So you can keep an eye on what's happening with the dollar. There you are. So make a note of that. Okay. And then catch you next time. Give you a moment, you have to copy and paste those two, and then we'll knock it off and get back to you later. Well, you wouldn't do a pending order. What I'll do is a straddle. Well, when you do a straddle, I'll just wait. You don't know what's going to happen. You know it's going to go up or down. You only do a pending order when you think it's the worst price. You won't get a better price. We don't know. It could come shooting down or shooting up. So we'll do a pending order on this one. I just sit tight for a couple of minutes and see what comes out as. Okay. Bit late. It's the same thing. It's in your. You should actually. I think you're on my group. You should have received it anyway. But it was a sell order at 101.58, 101.59, around about that. 101.59, big one. Call it 101.60. It's 30 pips in profit at the moment, which is good, but I wouldn't be chasing it here. That ship sailed. It's too late. If you want to put a pending order at 101.60 as a sell stop, sell limit. Sorry, beg your pardon. Big mistake there. Sell limit. You can do, but the moment that ship was sailed, don't join it now. Obviously, the figures will be completely different to the ones you've got because they worked out at 30 pips higher than that. Okay. Okay, good stuff. You got my details there, Chipper. Anything you need, just give me a shout. WhatsApp me. All right, guys, catch you this afternoon, and happy trading, sir.